Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Hope everybody didn't get blown away by the storm going through, but we're here, and it came up really fast on us, and hopefully will help us prepare in the future, so knowing how fast it's going to come up on us. Our water temperature, let's talk about that first. It's down to 83.3. That's the lowest it's been since way back in March. 83.3. High today is going to be 85 and low 74. Take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola is level at a 4.9. It's at Bluntstown, and the Choctawhatchee at Caryville the same way. Both rivers sort of flat, not much movement at all. I don't know how much rain this rain is going to affect the Choctawhatchee for sure, but it may not have a big effect on the Apalachicola. The Choctawhatchee reading is 5.2. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, and go along with our report all week long about how the tides are acting. We got a high tide this morning at 5:39, and you can see a strong drop. It's dropping out all the way to 4:40 this afternoon. Excellent falling tides. And our wind direction will be southeast at about 10. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Our guest this morning on a regular basis, we'd like to have Daniel Cole, our boating expert. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning. How's it going?
Hey, listen, you were telling me, Labor Day's over, but you worked during the Labor Day.
I made it a Labor Day, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
I didn't get any time off the whole weekend, so.
Well, you just loaded up with that much work, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
Sometimes.
But you did manage to squeeze in a catfishing trip.
I did. It was friend of mine. We went up the Appalachian River and or down the Appalachian River, and we did. We lucked up. We had a couple good strikes that we didn't make pay, but that one there we actually got in the boat. So.
This is that's a fine catfish right there. Tell us how you got them. What you used for bait and all that. And
just the old-fashioned heart-shaped sinker with the hook and a live brim on it, and putting him down there and waiting for something to come along. That one didn't take long at all. We didn't hardly sit down and have it in the water, and that clicker started ringing out on that pin, so it was, knew something good was on there. But
y'all anchor up at a spot and then just get around like a sandbar, back behind the sandbars and all that?
Yeah, we look more or less just for holes, but we got on a really good hole, and like I said, put it down, and it wasn't no time. Bam! We hear it go click, 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 click. And we knew something was on. It was 19 pounds, so it was pretty nice.
Right, a 20-pound catfish. And you got them all cleaned up, ready to eat pretty soon.
We're ready to go.
That's the best tasting fish to me, a catfish.
Yeah, if you take time to get all the stuff out of it, the red line and everything.
Just take your time and clean them. The same way, saltwater fish and freshwater fish, the same way. You want to get the bloodline out and just have that white meat left.
Yep.
How you fry yours up?
Yeah, I cut it in nuggets. It seems to fry a little more even. I can't stand an overcooked fish, and I can't stand it when they get that jelly in them from not quite cooked. But if you cut them up in nuggets, it tends to fry more even, and then you just pop them, and that's all right. What I wanted to do.
Catfish and grits. All right, what else been going on with you?
Like I said, just work. August is our busiest time of year usually, and we've had so much survey stuff going on, doing some legal representation and get some other stuff happening, and it's, hopefully we're fixing to get into the fall and things hopefully slow just a little bit.
Yeah.
Now that football season's up and hunting season's not far behind that, I'm ready for a little bit of a break.
I tell you, we're talking about getting in these bird months, BER months, and that's where a lot of things start happening. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, your business slows down just a little bit so you can catch your breath and do some outdoor stuff.
Sometimes.
You sent this other picture here. This is fascinating here. Tell us about this one.
Well, the Beck story, as best as I can detail from what was available. This was a gentleman with a really nice boat, and he really trusted his autopilot system, and apparently something went haywire while he was below, and it didn't make the adjustment, and it just literally drove this boat full blast right up on the shore.
Oh my goodness.
And it reminds us that even though those gadgets are nice to have, they can really make life easier. At the same time, they still bring another level of danger to boating that if you don't keep an eye on them, they can malfunction like anything man-made. And so in this case, This gentleman, I'm sure, had probably a pretty good bit of damage and a pretty hefty fee to get this thing offshore and get it off and land and get it back into action again.
And he was fortunate he just ran aground there. He could run into some jetties or
could have hit another boat full of people.
Yeah.
Anything.
And you're talking about, you're right about electronics. We are blessed with what we can do with electronics. I mean, it goes with your cell phone and everything, but they're not 100% correct. I mean, there are going to be some times when you know that about your cell phone. Sometimes it just goes haywire. You know, crazy thing, and sometimes I'll talk to Siri and on a map. We got to where we use that map a lot when we're out of town. You know, and it is great. It's just awesome. Every now and then it'll put us on the wrong turn. So those electronics, they will mess up.
They sure will.
But as far as I tell you, the technology it's amazing though. We go down underwater and all these bass fishermen are on the forefront of it. They'll put that camera there. It's like a camera almost, and it just shows almost everything, just like the sides, the bottom, in front, behind you. The sonar on it is amazing.
Yep.
Now, as that technology, how's that worked in your field? Have you used more technology now, I guess, than like Rick Corley and all those guys did back in the day? Or
yeah, because everybody uses GPS now, so it's like it's almost like the old days of the compass at the steering helm and all.
Yeah.
You don't see that as much as you used to. These guys, they get information on these computers now, on their cell phones, all these different apps. But the reality is, if everything shuts down, I think it's what people don't realize. An electrical short will short all that out. And if you don't still have your basic compass and your basic navigation skills, you can find yourself out there in a bad spot with a hard way to get back. I mean, that old technology was there for a reason, and I like backups. I always have a saying, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So you always need to have a backup.
Yeah, you see these old compasses still on all these boats and all. That's cool. All right, we're going to take a break. Got some more cool pictures to show you. Be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting with Daniel Cole. Always having a great time with Daniel. He has so much knowledge of boats and all outdoors, and he's a big outdoorsman himself. Just fits so well in Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate you coming on once a month.
I love coming.
And listen, y'all are so good about sending pictures and text and all. I got this one. Check this out. I'm going to just give you the text first, then I'm going to show you the picture. Hey, Coach, my brother, Steve Rogers, went fishing in the Sandhills. He said they were not biting too good. He only caught one, but he weighed 15.15 pounds, FWC certified. Check this out, folks. A 15-pound bass coming out of the Sandhills. Good job, Steve Rogers. That is a fine bass right there. That is a trophy. All right, great wall hanger. All right, a couple more. Let's see. I ran across this. This might fit for some of y'all. I wasn't planning on going for a run today, but those game wardens came out of nowhere. Hopefully that don't apply to the folks on the Watch Panhandle Outdoors. All right, now. Hey, Coach, the boys got a 12-foot, 4-inch gator, 750 pounds. Thought you would like to see. That's from Brittany Gail Erdman. I said, awesome. Is this your boyfriend? Where did they get it? And yes, that's my boyfriend. His name is Brandon Barfield. They got it in Gulf County intercoastal waters. Well, I will show you a better picture of it right here. Good, Brittany Gail, thank you for sending that. Brittany Gail Erdman, and that is a big gator.
That's a big gator.
Out of the intercoastal over in Gulf County. They do the Gulf County tags, and here it is hanging up. Right here. And also, there's Brittany Gale right there with her boyfriend, Brandon. A good family photo right there.
That's
all right. So we got so many of y'all are so good about keeping us posted on all the things going on and everything. So I guess you growing up in Apalachicola, you've seen some big gators in your life now.
I have. I've seen quite a few.
They tell me you try to, and they got a 13-footer over here in Freeport. So that's 2 huge gators out of this area, but they tell me, the original gator hunters really took place down in Everglades and Lake Okeechobee had the big gators, but now they're saying the big ones are really, and they can't get them up at Lake Seminole.
Right.
Have you seen some big ones up there?
Yeah, you go up Lake Seminole, you come in at night using a Q-beam, looks like you can walk on them without getting your feet wet and get back to land.
I'm always talking about sharks, about sharks fall in the water, something happened on sharks, being careful of sharks. I don't know what'd be worse, falling in a big Lake Seminole or that place called the Bay at nighttime and making all that noise.
I don't know.
They're both good, but they're big and they can be aggressive, and that's just their nature. Okay, let's get back to boats and all. There's a little storm, I call it little, got to be a Category 1, blew through, and that was Gordon. And the folks over in Louisiana, Mississippi got the brunt of it, and it came through so fast. And what fascinated me, we really didn't have much notice on it. I mean, they told us about it, but it's just went a straight line. It didn't zigzag. What's your take on these storms and all?
I don't know. I mean, they come up in a hurry and they go through in a hurry. Sometimes they sit still. You never can tell. They're about as predictable as a female. So.
Well, those when they sit out there and gather that strength, those are the ones that are scary.
Really bad.
They'll go back and forth, and all that time they're sucking up that warm air and all. And
I really hope, and I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist, so I don't know if it'll affect it or not. But with it having come across the bottom of the state, I really hope it has some effect on this red tide bloom that's been killing everything, and maybe it'll help disperse some of that stuff, blow it on out to sea or something.
That's funny you said that. That was one of the first things I thought of in Southwest Florida. They've been hit hard.
Oh, man, it's just
picture right there. And we talked about it a lot. It's on a lot of pictures, and I know some folks down there, and they say the smell is so bad, and it just killed the tourist industry. It goes back to what we try to talk about up here about saving, taking care of our environment and all.
That's right.
And then you have a debate, red tide is natural. Red tide is natural, that's not debatable, but how much man-made stuff contributes to making it worse? And
right.
that's a big debate there. But bottom line, it's terrible and all. Okay, so big boats. Well, let's talk about our boats with a storm. I know we talk about this a lot also. What do we do with our boats? You see them all the time.
It just depends. You got to get them somewhere where if there's a good wall of water comes in on storm surge, that it's pretty well protected. You want to be sure and have good moorings. I think the people in our area are really savvy because they've been through it so many times, and we have some really nice natural harbor areas that protect it. But just the biggest thing is being aware of what your boat can take, what's coming. With all talking about technology, we do get a lot of advanced information now from the weather system and from different weather experts as to what the actual size of everything will be and the impact as far as waves, wind, and all that. So if you plan accordingly, they have a habit of usually exaggerating just a little bit, and that's a good thing because if you go ahead and you plan for what they're telling you, you should be good when you get done mooring your boat down, tying it down. If you ever have any questions about your particular boat, the best way to moor it, where to get it, stuff like that, you can always drop us an email. We're just now starting this hurricane season, so if you want to contact me or contact Winston, we'll be sure to give you some information on that boat. There's some really good guidelines with how to anchor them, the amount of chain, the amount that you need, the size lines based on the size of the boat. We'll be happy to answer those kind of questions.
That's critical and all, that distance between. And what's your email address?
It's colemarinesurveyor@gmail.com.
colemarinesurveyor@gmail.com. And that comes from a long history, deciding about the length of that rope and all comes from a long history of sailors.
That's right.
A lot of trial and error.
That's right.
Many generations and all. Or even goes back to the early boats coming in. And it still fascinates me how they just naturally could find those safe harbors. And they always anchored them into the wind. They just knew what they were doing.
That's right.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to show you some of these safe harbors along the Panhandle where if you can't get them in. Of course, now we have these commercial places where you can get them in storage and all. Like Watson's Landing or Miller Marine, those
That's
places.
Right.
But a lot of times there's a line of people
trying to get in there.
Trying to get in there at the same time. So let's take our final break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. 8:50 to 10:50 this morning, and 9:21 to 11:21. Let's go to that time in the morning. This morning, remember I told you this morning when the tide's going to start going out? This is about an hour after tide starts moving strong. So that's all tied together. Over and over again, I get testimonials about how these times fit into some really good catches. And I know you do a lot of outdoor stuff, and there's a certain segment of time, hunting and fishing, that you've seen stuff, right?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people don't think those solar planners, the moon phases really work, but I can say some of my best hunting and fishing's been done.
I'm a firm
based on
believer.
those.
But sometimes, we all call at the same time. You got to sort of go at this certain time because you got people going with you. That's the only time they can go, or that's the only time you can go. Sometimes you sort of call and do the very best you can. But if it's just, if you just really want to go out and you really want to sort of plan it, if you want to go out and catch some fish.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
I got a couple more pictures here. This is down your way, down toward Dog Island, which is next to St. George Island. Check this out. Watching the hatchlings reach the Gulf. A great evening indeed. Is this amazing how this evolved back when we were growing up? You'd go walking on the beach at nighttime with flashlights and you'd be the only one out there, and you'd see these going all over the place. Now, check this out. They've made a little route for them, and it's turned into like a little circus or a festivity, like a parade. Is that amazing?
That is.
And when I saw this, I just busted out laughing. I wish my wife's aunt, spent a lot of time in St. George Island and took us to those places, could see this now because she'd just be fascinated. September, buy your husband a fishing rod month. Okay, now Bob Billsman posted that, Levon, so maybe that's what he wants. All right, check this out. 10th annual Elizabeth Bardolph Memorial. This is the first time we released a date on it. November the 4th, the first weekend of November. It'll be coming up. We have a lot more detail. We have the Bardolph family come on the show once a year, and this is the 10th annual. And we've supported every one of these and had them on the show. And it's hard to believe this is the 10th annual. So always, we'll talk more about that later. Wonderful cause there. And don't forget now the trash cleanup Saturday, September 8th, over there in Apalachicola National Forest. Okay, Seasons of Hope putting that on. All right. Okay. Now let's get back to the boats. We're talking about putting them in good places and all. Down in Apalachicola or over in Choctawhatchee Bay, you were saying a lot of times they just go where?
Just go up the river.
Take them up the river.
Make a few turns and tie them off real good with some long lines so they got room to come up with a surge. And the facilities there are all pretty open. Scipio Creek probably offers a little bit of protection, but for the most place, the old timers just got up in the river.
They took it up in the river.
Yep.
And there's a lot of boat building heritage all along, from Choctawhatchee Bay. All these bays had some excellent boat builders on all these rivers. What was some of that early wood they used back in those days on building those boats?
A lot of it naturally was cypress because the swamps, they're just readily available. I mean, they make it out of other stuff too, but cypress has got a reputation for being really durable and not rotting, so it makes good material.
So many of those old timers also made their paddles.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of wooden paddles. I got one. I got a couple of them hanging up. I'm so proud of. But anyway, in Apalachicola Bay, we were talking about St. George Island, Apalachicola, going up the river and all. What about Lake Wimico? Would that be a good place over there, or would that be too open?
It's kind of open. I think that if you knew which direction your wind's coming from, you could shelter close to shore, but it is awful open.
Of course, going up the river and all, it would be the best bet over there.
Something else to always remember with that is because these storms, we think about the wind being a destructive damage too, but be sure your batteries are in good condition, because if your bilge pumps aren't working, I've seen enough rain fall to sink a boat pretty much like that. I mean, they fill up quick, so be sure you got some means of it naturally bailing itself while you're not there.
That's a good point. I thought about that. What about when you get your boat out of, if say you're going to trailer? Of course, the best thing to do is trailer and get it on up in, up on around the house and all. I remember you got to remember, like I say, the wind direction, and you're going to put it on sturdy building. I remember back we would go to Mosley High School way back in the day as a storm shelter. It used to be a storm shelter, and I would always park my vehicle on on the north side of the school because it was coming. The storm was coming from the south side.
Right.
Same thing at home. I always think about those trees, how they're going to fall.
Right.
And and a lot of times people park their boats back in the carport, whatever, or a pole barn. And those trees, big trees, you've seen them fall.
Yep.
So and the ground gets soft and all the roots are so.
Right now we're in danger of that. I tell you, our yard's so wet. It's I'm worried about the trees pushing up because the ground integrity has really been compromised this weeks and weeks of rain and rain and rain.
That is such.
Our yard's really soft right now.
Yeah, ours is too, and everybody's is. It's because of the rain we've had, and those roots now, especially those oak trees, those big old oak trees. Like the pine tree root goes down, those oak trees though they spread out, and the palm trees
sure
they don't have much of, and they blow around.
Yep.
I've got a couple minutes left. Getting back to boats, I know because you're expert on boat safety. You showed that one with electronics and all. There was a boat accident last week where two boats ran flat into each other, and I think there were 4 fatalities or 4 or 5 fatalities off of it. How can something like that happen?
About guarantee you somewhere there was a bunch of alcohol involved.
Okay.
And people not watching, not paying attention, and I know you've seen the video online of the guy, a boat full of people, and he's going real fast, and all of a sudden he loses control, turns sideways, and everybody comes out of the boat. I mean, ego has a lot to do with it sometimes. Yeah. So safe boating practice, demands that you be careful what you eat, careful what you drink, and you pay attention, and you don't be doing stupid stuff.
And it goes back to what our FWC guys are saying, Travis and a couple of other guys are saying the same thing. This past year they have more trouble with boating under influence tickets, so they gave more this year than they have ever. And they try to crack down on it. And it has gotten better, but when you're out in those open water like a bay system or a big lake, there's no signs and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Nope, that's a fact. Yeah. I've been nearly hit 3 times up on Bear Creek.
Oh, in Bear Creek?
Yeah.
Wow.
People coming through there too fast and being lit and not paying attention. So
we run out of time. Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you, bud.
Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man. Enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.